Are you always coming up with ideas? Do you marvel at successful business owners? Do you hate being told what to do? Ever take things apart just to see how they work? Are you a dreamer? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, this podcast is for you. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wharton, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Pro Tapes and Specialties is the world leader in tape manufacturing and specialty conversion with over 40 years of experience. In addition to our Pro brand of high-quality specialty adhesive tapes, we provide contract converting services that help improve your profitability, streamline your supply chain, and reduce inventory cost. We offer the most complete range of converting capabilities in the industry, such as cloth tape, double-coated tape, specialty tape, paper tape, masking tape, vinyl tape,
carton sealing tape, adhesive transfer tape, duct tape, foam tape, electrical tape, filament tape, foil tape, reflective tape.
And the tape just keeps on rolling. Visit us online today at www.protapes.com or call us at 800-345-0234. Pro Tapes, it's just how we roll.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to another fantastic episode of the Entrepreneur Enclave, Life's Coming Attraction. I am your host, Kevin Wortham. Today I have a very dear friend of mine, and she is going to tell us about the spin doctor. Cathy, welcome to the platform. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine, thank you. And I'm so glad to be able to talk to you and all of your audience.
Absolutely. So we're going to get started. We're going to start with what's going on now. Tell us about Spin Doctor.
Okay. Let's see. Well, Spin Doctor's been open for 10 years now.
Yes.
And I've actually paid my equipment off. So I'm like, yay, so happy.
Congratulations.
But thank you so much. But we're in Hamilton Township,
yes.
Just on the border of Trenton. And it's a big store. It's 3,000 square feet. We have 41 washers in 3 different sizes. And we have 36 dryers,
okay.
All Electrolux machines, so they're top quality, high efficiency machines. And we've got lots of really nice amenities for the customers. We have picnic seating, we have a child play area, we're all handicap accessible, we have ramps outside, electronic doors, and we actually have air conditioning.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, you need that for the summer. Wow.
Yes, we do. But, it's just like the car at the beginning of the season. As soon as you turn the temperature down, it's like, oh, my gosh, I need some fluid in here.
Yeah.
But the other wonderful things about Spin Doctor that really differentiates us is we're coinless.
Yes.
Which means that the customers will use a laundry card, which we give out free, by the way.
Okay.
And they can add money either with cash or with credit or debit cards if they wish. And our washers can text customers
when their load is done.
Yes.
Well,
yes. Yes.
I think you missed a part, and you didn't share that you were African American.
Yes, so sorry. Yes, I am. Last I heard.
And you didn't share, and I think the listening audience can tell, you are a woman. So first of all,
yes, I am.
Congratulations on the 10 years. That's powerful. That's powerful.
Thank you very much.
And so what we want to do now, so now that we've got what you do, what was the reason and why did you want to open up the Spin Doctor Laundromat?
Okay. Oh, I wanted to open up a laundromat because it was one of the few businesses that I did some research on that has a really high success rate.
Yes.
I mean, everyone needs to wash clothes.
Absolutely.
So so it just rose to the top of the list. It also has fewer issues in terms of personnel.
Okay.
Because you really don't need that many people to run it, or you could have a completely self-service and not have anyone operating the store at all.
Yes.
Also, if you go to the service school, you can do some minor repairs on your own. So those costs are pretty low.
Okay.
And it's basically recession proof. And if it's run well and you keep the place clean, you will have probably no problem keeping your doors open for the duration. In fact, during this terrible pandemic, which has stretched on for 2 or 3 years, I cut my hours back. I used to close late at 11 o'clock. I close at 8 now, and the volume's actually gone up.
Wow.
The number of people that come in. Yes.
Got you. Now, are you looking for the summer to increase your hours again, or you like where your hours are now?
I'm glad you asked that. I'm still mulling that over. I know my husband would like me to get in the house a little bit earlier, but the customers are really looking to have the hours extended again. It may not be to 11, but certainly to 10 or 10:30, because we have people that are going back to commuting, and they get off the train here at Hamilton at 8:30, 9 o'clock. They run home for a snack, and then they're looking to take care of their laundry. So I imagine that we will be back late most nights.
Okay. Now you mentioned research. What was the type of research that you had to do before you decided that you wanted to open up this type of business?
I went to meetings for, there were maybe 3 or 4 different industries that I was considering going into, and actually tried myself. Real estate.
Okay.
And I also looked into vending, coin vending of machines, not only for food, but for products like an airport.
Yes.
A coffee concession for the airport. I looked into repair, things that people needed every single day. And as I went to seminars and business meetings and talked to people in those various industries, I started to cull the list down to a few.
Okay.
And what surfaced for me was, again, those businesses that people are always going to need. And, the car washes, the laundromat business, again, things that have low personnel type issues, that is relatively easy to operate, and it's disruptible. In other words, if you add some advanced technology to it, then you've got like a superstar.
Got you. So once you've decided, so you did your research. Once you've decided, when did you begin to put together the business plan?
I think I started pulling it together maybe 2 or 3 years before I left my corporate job. I have been in the pharmaceutical industry for, more than 15 years. And the last companies I was at were Johnson & Johnson and Bayer.
Yes.
And, the big companies, it's international, it's 24 hours. And so whenever I could drag myself away from work, I would write a few paragraphs, write a few sections, and then maybe do the marketing section, and then maybe work on the operations and the offerings, and my demographic information. I could get a lot of that from the Census Bureau.
Yes.
And then I started to go around to the different banks to try to find out what I, was credit worthy enough to borrow.
Got you.
For the enterprise. That's pretty important. Yeah. And as the next thing you know, I've got now a 5-page document. Now I've got a 15-page document, 20-page document, and I would bring them around to the financial institutions, and they'd say, well, maybe you need a resume. Maybe you need some testimonies in there. Yes. Maybe you need a little bit more competitive information. And I went to a couple of meetings from SCORE and the Small Business Administration, and they can really help you shore up some of that documentation so that you can present it to a bank in a really solid form and a winnable form, so that you can get some money.
Now, how important was the business plan for you?
I think it was extremely important in that it not only presented my plan to a banking institution, but also the commercial brokers that were leasing spaces because they wanted to see what I was going to do.
Got you.
The laundries have maybe not the best reputation. As a lot of the landlords were thinking that, well, it's crime ridden. There's, it's going to get robbed. There's kids hanging out in it, homeless people in the bathrooms, all kinds of things. It's attracting the wrong element.
Yes.
And it wasn't until I could show them a nice documented, printed business plan that they said, oh, she's serious.
Yes.
Oh, she's got everything planned out, and this is not some, dump that she wants to put in my really nice retail mall.
Yeah.
So it was very helpful on both ends.
Now you mentioned demographics. How did you pick that location? Was it because of the census and the demographics, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. That's extremely important. And the manufacturer, the Electrolux people, were very helpful in helping me to try to determine where I should be looking.
Yes.
And they gave me the tip that maybe I should look within, I would say, 45 minutes of where I'm working or living.
Okay.
And try in those zip codes. And then I would do the top level of just looking at the U.S. Census Bureau and then culling that down a little bit. And then I would go back to the Electrolux representative and I'd say, well, this is what I'm looking for. And then he would say to me, okay, well, now you're looking for the number of schools. You're looking for the ratio between a single family home and renters.
Yes.
And the disposable income.
Yes.
Of the people in the area and the age, and then drop it down and down and down, and then you've got maybe 2 zip codes you're looking in.
Okay.
And those are some of the things that you're really looking for. It's education level, all kinds of things. And when you check off more boxes in one zip code versus another,
yes,
then you get in your car and you start driving around until you can find I've got a commercial space here, or there's a telephone number of a broker or a leasing agent for a landlord. And you call them up and ask to look at it.
Got you. Now, I don't know if you mentioned this, but what was the reason for you wanting to leave corporate America?
Well, to put it nicely, it's the isms, the racism, and the politicized environment, all that. And so I started out actually in biology. Okay. And worked in a hospital lab. And I really liked being with the people.
Yes.
And once I had gotten into the pharmaceutical industry, I was so distant from people and actually helping them that I was really kind of miserable. It's not that I didn't do well and I didn't succeed and learn a lot that helped me in the current business, but the environment was not conducive to me being happy and really realizing my true passion.
Understood. So at what point, were you bitten by the entrepreneurial bug?
Well, if I can go back to the days when my sister and I had a little Kool-Aid stand, it would be maybe
that's
decades.
All right. That's all right.
It would go be decades ago, but I think probably in the late 90s, I was in. I think I was living in Connecticut then. I was working for Bayer, and I'm a big tennis fanatic, and a lot of the girls were complaining they didn't like the clothes and the bags that we had for the team. And I said, oh, well, I think I can pull something together. And I worked with a small manufacturer there, made bags and things. And I went there with a few designs, and I had some made in Connecticut, and I started selling them to the girls, personalized.
Okay.
And then I was sponsoring little tennis tournaments around the state.
Wow.
And up in New York. And I had a decent amount of success from it. Yes. And that success said, this is what I'm really good at. and I enjoy it. I'm with people. I'm selling. I have a really good product, and that's what I think I'd like to do, and not sit at a desk or in a cube.
Yes.
Crunching numbers.
Got you. So now that you've got 10 years in,
Mm-hmm.
what's the next step for you? Where would you like to expand, first of all?
Well, just recently, I would say in January, I was invited into the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program.
Okay.
And the whole, I guess, point of being in the cohort is to really focus your attention on your own business.
Yes.
And they gather probably about 25 to 27 people in each cohort, and there's one in each major city. So there's one in New York, and there's one in Philadelphia. I attended the one in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And you are charged with really taking a deep dive into your own business.
Okay.
Learn how to evaluate it. If you were to sell it, you have to make an exit plan. You have to come up with at least 2 ideas for growing your business. And one of the 2 ideas was to do delivery, wash, dry, and fold delivery for my business.
Okay.
And push the franchising, which I had been dreaming about for quite some time.
Okay.
And it was pretty much on hold because of the pandemic. So I think that being in that group and having other small business owners, give you feedback on your ideas for growth,
Yes.
and that being the one that everyone voted on that was what I needed to do, is what I'm working on.
Wow.
Right now.
And so ultimately, what type of feedback and what type of support is Goldman Sachs going to give you or provide for you?
Well, the program is run by 2 or 3 academics from the Philadelphia Community College.
Yes.
And from Babson College. And you also have the opportunity to meet and present to Goldman Sachs executives.
Oh wow! Yeah,
Yes.
I'm familiar with Babson College. I did an entrepreneurial program up there, decades ago.
Oh, wonderful!
So,
wonderful.
And at that time, and it probably still is, Babson was world renowned for just teaching entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's all they do. They eat, sleep, drink entrepreurship. So I was excited to be there. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So now
it was absolutely fantastic, and a number of us, said, well, we've been in business for a certain period of time. A couple of us, including myself, I have an MBA. Yes. And we're thinking, well, what else could we learn? But just being there and just getting not only the feedback, but a conversation with like-minded people.
Absolutely.
It just kind of spurs a lot of ideas.
Yes.
And we could share with other people, and the support was just off the charts.
Wow. So you think, because let me see if I understand this. So one of the services that you do now, do you do washing and drying?
Yes.
Or dry?
Yes,
so
we do that.
You do that currently, right? So
we do that currently.
Yes.
I would say about 70 or 80% of the business is self-serve, or self-wash.
Okay.
So people will come in, they will wash their own clothes, dry their own clothes, fold their own clothes. Okay. But we do offer what's called drop-off service.
Yes.
And the customer can come up to the window. We weigh their clothes, examine them to make sure that they are machine washable.
Yes.
And we recommend the products to use, if not the ones that we use standard.
Okay.
And we complete it within 24, 36 hours. And I have maybe 5 to 8 commercial customers outside that I pick up for in construction, physical therapy, grounds for sculpture in the area. We do work for them as well.
Okay.
Uniforms and that type of thing. And so what it would mean is that if I really decide that I'm going to institute this delivery, I would formalize it by hiring a driver.
Yes.
And a van and all that, and get the software that's necessary to really manage the
Yes.
whole thing. And part of the program with 10,000 small businesses was trying to figure out how much that would cost.
Okay. Well, sign me up for the drop off and pick up for because man,
I can't blame you.
listen. I need that because sometimes, man, in the course of a day, you're just running around, and it would be nice to know that when you came home, your laundry is on the back porch, just ready to go. Oh my God!
I'm telling you, yes, it is, and man. I think that's the fastest growing part of the business.
Yeah, I can imagine. So you let me know if you want to demo with me. I'll be glad. sign me up today.
That's okay.
And I can probably give you another 10, 20 customers that are in that listen. So you let me know when you're ready, Cathy.
Well, that's not so bad, and we pay commission,
Yeah. So, okay, all right. So thinking about next location, because while we were prepping for this, I shared with you, I was going to ask you this question. Do you think that looking at the demographics of Trenton, based on your type of business, would this business be located, or could you locate it in downtown Trenton?
I could conceivably do that. I've received a number of calls, in fact, one today.
Yes.
About locating in Trenton. And I looked in Trenton first.
Okay.
Before I ended up in Hamilton Township. Okay. I think the only thing that I was concerned about at the time was that the competition in that area was very high. Well, there was quite a few of them, and large ones as well.
Well, I think you need to revisit that, because the one that was downtown Trenton, they have since closed.
Oh my!
So there is no dry cleaner in downtown Trenton, and now that I know you and how you keep your shop, you would be a breath of fresh air because of the quality. And so maybe you don't do as many machines, right?
Yeah.
But you might do more, because you've got a lot of state office workers would drop their clothes off to you, and maybe at the end of the day or the next day they can come in to pick that up. Because I remember when I used to do some work in New York, I used to travel from Trenton to New York, and then sometimes I would get off at Newark and catch the path over, depending upon which building I had to go to that day. And right in the train station, there was this huge dry cleaning business, and the guy had boxes out of the door. That's how much business he was doing at that time. So I could see something like that similar, not at our train station, but certainly downtown Trenton. And if you're ready, let me know. I can put you in. I can put you in touch with the guy who can give you all your information, give you the demographics, let you know what kind of grants are available. Because you are a minority and you are a woman, and we would love to have that type of business downtown Trenton.
Yeah,
and who knows? I might get a commission from that too.
Yes, or a tip, whichever is higher.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I tell you, it's really interesting though about the dry cleaning business, and it's one of the things that my husband is helping me with this franchise enterprise, and we hold these webinars several times a week for potential investors. Okay. And one of the things that they ask a lot about is, do I need to have the dry cleaning portion of it? And the truth of the matter is that there are so few businesses or industries that require you to wear a jacket or a nice suit, that many of them are going out of business.
Okay.
And so for those of us who are doing laundry and washable clothes, the business is definitely picked up. But there are like really portable, what they call wet cleaning machines that do kind of a steam with a biodegradable kind of solution for people who still need to wear those types of things to work. Without having that whole big equipment. So something like that, a combination would probably work very well in downtown.
Yeah. Or there might be where you would, I'm not the word and the phrase that I'm looking for just left my mind. Outsource. You might find that there's a larger manufacturer that does the dry cleaning, and you would just outsource to them and just charge the customer a few extra pennies or quarters or dollars, and they still would participate and enjoy your service. Because I dry clean everything. Yeah, so I wash. I'm getting personal now. I wash my underwear and my socks, but everything else I dry. And I launder everything else. I do my towels, of course, but everything else I launder everything. And I don't know. And I don't always wear a suit jacket. I just like a nice fresh polo shirt, dress shirt with shorts, jeans, whatever the case may be. Yeah.
Well, yeah. You look pretty sharp, so you're doing the right thing.
Yeah. On my good days, I try to look halfway decent, but yeah,
you're doing fine.
But let me know if you're interested in coming to Trenton. I think Trenton at least the downtown Trenton, that part of it, they would love you.
Okay, I'll take a second look at it.
But again, you could do your hours like from 6 to 6. So as the traffic was beginning to die down, you're out of there by 6 o'clock because you're opening up at 6 o'clock in the morning, right?
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point. I open 7 here, but for that location, probably early.
Because you're trying to take advantage of the folks that would come into town earlier just to drop off their dry cleaning, their needs, and before they skedaddle to the parking lot to go to work.
Okay, you have stimulated my brain here, and I've got it's circulating around there.
And think about this, right? While you're working 8 hours, the average worker is thinking, man, all the chores I've got to do once I get home, and one of them is washing clothes or this or that.
Yeah,
they could bring it to you, and for sure the laundry could be done. They just have to pick it up when they leave work. Now they've got more time for their family, so you got to really start to push maybe convenience and having more time with your family, right?
Oh, it's absolutely it's true. I think a few years ago I wrote this little article for Women in Business organization. They have a newsletter.
Yes.
Because I recognized how many people would come up to the counter, particularly women, because the laundry is usually relegated to the female in the household, and how guilty they felt about coming up to the counter and giving me the laundry. It's like they're telling me, oh, well, I couldn't do it today. I got to pick up my kids with this, or my mom's sick and everything. I said, you don't have to tell me this. It's okay.
It's okay. Yeah.
I said, but just think about what you can do with the time that we're saving you. I mean,
Absolutely.
you can go and take a course. You could go take a walk around the park and think about your mental health.
Yes.
You could read a book. You can improve yourself if you wish to.
Yes.
Why you want to be in here for 90 minutes or 2 hours doing laundry when we can do it for you? And they go, oh my God, thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you, because I feel so bad. I feel guilty. Like I'm not a true woman if I don't do my laundry.
No, you're actually more of a woman because now you've got more time to yourself, right? Now,
it's true.
Now let me ask this question. So when you were in your cohort, was it a majority of men, majority of women?
I think it was. I think the men edged out the women.
Okay. Because one of the things that I'm noticing now, and this is not scientific, I'm noticing that prior to the pandemic, right? The uptick of women starting businesses has been phenomenal. The number they're like really outpacing men.
Yeah, I believe that.
And then the black women, wow, African American women are out. They seem to be the largest growing segment of entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So these are exciting times. So let's unpack that for a second. Why do you think so many black women, women of color, are wanting to become entrepreneurs and wanting to move into owning their own? Why do you think that is?
I think, well, in addition to the problems that a lot of us face in the corporate environment, I think the pandemic cut us worse than any other demographic group.
Okay.
I mean, because a lot of us did not have the money for childcare.
Yes.
We had lower paying jobs. We had off the books jobs.
Yes.
Couldn't leave the kids. And so many women of color had to quit their job in order to take care of the kids and homeschool them.
Yes.
And it seemed that the only avenue to making a living was to try to do something out of your house and start doing business where you could still take care of your family and have some cash coming in.
Very true.
So that's my take on it.
Okay.
And I'm sticking to it.
No. I want Cathy. I want you to now. So two questions again. How important, because you mentioned your husband, how important was it for you to have your husband's complete buy-in when you started this business? How important was that?
You know what's so funny about that? I never had that. He was freaking out.
Okay.
He was. I invited him over when they delivered the washers.
Yes.
And the wires were still hanging from the ceiling.
Wow.
And I said, "Come on, come on, friend." And he would. The color just drained from his face.
Wow.
And he said, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
And I said, "I think I'm going to open in a couple of months." And he said, "Is there a lien on the house? What about the car?"
Yeah. Wow.
It took maybe a couple of years, and when I was getting to the point where I was breaking even, and
Yes.
I came home, I had taken the money out of the vending machine.
Okay.
And the cash register, and he came out of the shower, and I just threw it on the bed.
Yes.
And he said, "How much do you think that is?" And I said, "It's cash,
Yes.
and I paid everyone, and I broke even." And
Wow.
he said, and that was when he said, "Oh, this is not so bad. We're not ruined."
So now he throws in the word we're not ruined.
Yes. Yes, that's exactly what happened. You caught that.
We are not ruined.
We are not.
Yeah. All right. So he is now your number one supporter, right?
Yes, he is now my number one supporter.
Awesome.
And he's totally into it. He's the franchise opportunity really sparked his in. I mean, he's still working full time, but he really enjoys getting onto the call and showing how much he knows now about the business.
Yes.
And the upside to it is so great that
Awesome.
he gets to advise them on security and the construction part of it and all of that. So I could see this little sparkle there. He's thinking, "Well, this could be lucrative."
Yeah.
It's not bad.
I'm proud of my wife now. We are doing good work.
We are. I can hold my head up on this one.
But I want to go back and just rephrase that question. So again, how important is to have your mate, your spouse, with you? Is it necessary to have complete buy-in?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. And I actually teach some classes at the community college every now and then, and that comes up with a lot of people that are in the class, and they say, "Well, you need the money and you need this," and I said, "Guess what? You need the buy-in for your family, because if you're don't assume that they've bought into this, because their life is going to change some way. You're not going to be home to cook dinner, or your dad's going to pick somebody else to run the business, and there's going to be fighting going on, and there's going to be money that's going to be poured back into the business that's not going to go on vacations, and so you got to have the family behind you, and get them involved in your success, or else you're probably going to have a tough go of it."
Yeah. So now we've got 10 years in. What would be your greatest accomplishment thus far in the 10 years?
Right now, I probably would say making above average return on my investment.
Okay.
I would say that. I mean, it's I've gotten to the point where the services that we are providing, the margins are good.
Yes.
I have people that have been with me for years.
Okay.
So the camaraderie here and the teamwork is just fabulous. These are my friends.
Yes.
Now I consider them to be my friends, and that's
Yes.
very rewarding. So those two things, I think just the return on investment and the teamwork and camaraderie.
Okay.
That the environment is good.
And so, same question. In the 10 years, what has been the most challenging of the business?
I think probably from a compensation standpoint,
Okay.
I think in order to get good people, you have to find newer, better ways to encourage people to come in and work and be dependable.
Got you. Okay.
And not too far away, as you probably know, Amazon has these huge distribution centers,
Yes.
and they're siphoning off a lot of people that would maybe work here.
Okay.
And so to try to keep up with a big organization like that in terms of salary, compensation, medical benefits, and all that type of thing is very
Yes.
difficult for a small business.
Well, at Amazon, you're going to need that medicals, because if you're not coming in with a listen,
Yes.
if you're not coming into Amazon with a certain skill set, they throw you all in an assembly line, and man, you're working 16, 14 hours, picking up boxes that at minimum weigh 50 pounds.
Yes.
You're going to need that in medical.
And they do, yes, and they do not have a strong HR presence there at all. I believe that they're not necessarily telling the truth about the workplace accidents there.
Oh, I know. Well, I mean, they don't have to. One, they don't have a union, so they don't have to report to anybody. They are self-governing. So yeah, the money is great, but you're going to use a lot of it if you pick up that box the wrong way, right?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
it's very true. It's very true. And I've had family members, I have customers that work there, and they tell me the horror stories about how they had to wear diapers to work because they don't have enough time to get to the locker room.
Wow.
It's
that
nuts.
That can be our next episode. We can talk about the horrors of Amazon, huh?
Yes. Yes, it would be.
Oh man! So now here's a two-parter. You ready, Cathy? Here's a two-parter question, right?
Okay.
Being an entrepreneur and being a woman of color, what would be some of the takeaways for you in terms of giving you joy? Some of the takeaways.
What has given me joy
as being a woman entrepreneur of color?
Being a female entrepreneur, I think I understand. I think naturally I have a little bit better understanding of customer service.
Okay.
And the little soft things that you need to do to retain customers and keep them loyal.
Okay.
With you here, and some of it is just about being careful and gentle with them to help them to use the machines as best they can, give them advice.
Yes.
Be more consultative when they come in, and since they're usually the guardian of their kids, make their kids happy.
Yes. Okay.
And give the kids lollipops and tell them a little bit, chat them up a little bit because they want somebody to talk to.
Yes.
And I think that's pretty important. And just being a woman of color, I think.
Yes.
The level of support that I've gotten from the Black community as soon as they find out that someone Black is running the place, the support, they come in. I just had to come here, even if I don't do my calls, I just had to see you.
Wow.
Because I just expected it was an Asian that was running this place, and I've never seen this before.
Yes.
I'll interview people, and I tell them they're going to see the hiring manager, they're going to see the owner, and I can see their eyes rolling around like, when is she going to show up? I said, she's here.
She's here, yeah.
And they say, you're kidding me, right?
Yeah.
You own it?
Yeah. No, you got to be a front for somebody, for that Asian couple.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
I've got them locked in the basement.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't going with the next joke, but I was. Wow. So just your presence is a warming, motivating thought for other women.
Yes,
Awesome.
I would say that. And what was interesting is this area that I'm in right now is predominantly white.
Okay.
My contractor was Italian, is
Yes.
Italian, and he was here most of the week when the build out was going on, and
Yes.
he said, "You're going to have a little trouble around here."
Okay.
They're already talking about, they think someone of color is coming in here and they're scared and everything. So you just be careful. This is what he said to me, right?
Wow.
And so for a very long time, I did not tell any of the customers that I had any ownership responsibilities here.
Good for you.
I just work here.
Good for
That's
you.
it. Just going to test them out. And then after a while, they said, "Are you like supervisor or something?" I said, "Yeah." So it went up. By the time I got to year 8, then
Wow.
I just said, yes, year 8. Then I said, yes, I am the owner. So if you have any
Wow.
problems, you just come see me.
And you know what? That is so crazy that
Yeah.
we have our own biases.
Mm-hmm.
And what we have to do to kind of camouflage who we are. Why can't we just be an owner, and why can't you respect that? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so true. And my competitors as well.
Yes.
I mean, some of the things I was hearing back from some of them about
Yes.
to have this entitlement, she shouldn't be in this neighborhood because I'm here first.
Yes.
And then I probably got some grant or affirmative action, and that's how I got the money for this place.
Wow.
Undermining,
Yeah.
the success.
That's crazy. But I'm so glad that you are standing strong. So now let's take a break. Can you give the listening audience your location, where you're located?
I certainly can.
Yes.
I am in Hamilton Township, right on the Trenton border, and I'm on 1070 Whitehorse Avenue at the corner of Cooser Road, which is spelled Kuser, and I am across the street from where the Kmart used to be. It's now Planet Fitness.
Yes.
And there's a Starbucks in there, and I'm in a really large shopping center with Foley's Supermarket and Dunkin' Donuts. So there's a lot of cross traffic in here. It's really a nice location.
Awesome. Cathy, just thank you for standing strong in there. So let's go back. If you had to do this all over again, what would you do different?
I would not have a 1,000-pound hot water heater.
Okay.
Boiler.
Okay. Now, why is that
I
an
would
issue?
not have that.
Okay.
I think after I purchased all the equipment, I went on a little tour of some of the other Electrolux stores and some of the other laundromats, and I noticed that what they were doing is they were getting individual home-size hot water heaters. So if one broke down, then they would have 4 or 5 others.
Gotcha.
But some of the detergents today, and many of the detergents actually work so well in cold water. You've probably seen the commercial with Stone Cold and iced tea on TV. They do work very well in cold water. So I'm not really using all that much hot water.
Okay.
And I have to get that humongous boiler inspected every year.
Wow.
Because it's under so much pressure and it's so big that it could leak or explode, I suppose, if it's, at some point. So it's under all these regulations. Okay. If I had, 5 or 6, individual ones and it broke down, hey, I go to Sears or someplace else and I go and I spend $400 or $500 just get one piece.
Yes. Wow.
So.
But you didn't know that at the time, though, did you?
I did not.
Yeah.
I did not know that at the time because a lot of people just like the hot water. They're used to it, and it's nothing wrong with it, but it's not necessary.
Got you.
Yeah, not at all.
Got you. Now, what advice would you give to, now this is another two-parter. What advice would you give to a startup entrepreneur? And then the second question is, what advice would you give to an African-American entrepreneur, startup entrepreneur?
I would think for a startup, definitely work on the finances, make sure that your credit history looks good.
Yes.
Build some relationships with some local banks.
Yes.
Because they can be extremely helpful in getting you the financing that you need. Use a lot of the free services that are available through SCORE, the Small Business Administration, to get your business plan together.
Yes.
And get maybe a little board of directors. It could be a cousin or a mentor, someone else that's in the industry or even out of the industry that can help keep you on track.
Got you.
And it's a sounding board for any new ideas that you have. In terms of being an African American, I think there's so many associations, the African American Chamber of Commerce, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and just be in a community of and Black MBA as well.
Okay.
And to get into those types of organizations, including the Urban League, so that you can socialize and be around other like-minded of color people.
Yes.
And that you could share ideas and methods for moving through all of the challenges that are piled on top of us.
Got you. Now, philanthropically, what does the Spin Doctor do for your community or surrounding community?
That's one of our brand pillars. And
awesome.
So every year we have a clothing and shoe drive for the rescue mission of Trenton.
Awesome.
And it's springtime. In fact, it's going on right now. I pick a charity to donate to. And the way I go about funding this donation is I drive people in with comforter coupons. It's all around comforters.
Yes.
So however many comforters get washed by the patrons or by our staff, I match it at $2 or $3, and then I present the check to the charity.
Wow.
So in the past, I've given money to Aisles Inc., and also the Big Brother Big Sister Home Front.
Yes.
The New Jersey Tennis and Learning Center. I think there's one other they're beginning, Goodwill.
Okay.
And so the checks, are either $500 to $1,000.
Okay.
I also support the local softball team, girls softball team, and the boys t-ball.
Okay.
And just getting involved in the community and the Shop Hamilton group, and so that way I know what's going on with government initiatives and also with the other local businesses, and so we can support one another.
Okay. Now I should have said this at the beginning of the episode, but I forgot to say it. So in full disclosure, I met you at church at the Turning Point, and you were on the choir, so you have a half decent voice, right?
I would hope so.
So we want to.
The organ had to play loud enough to drown us all out.
So I want to give a shout out to Pastor Rupert, the Turning Point United Methodist Church, and then I think Dr. Trinice had brought you in, right? Yeah, Dr. Trinice, who is our choir director. So we certainly want to give a shout out to them. Okay, so now we're done with the full disclosure. Now, Cathy, is there anything else while you are on this platform that you want to share that you think we need to know about the laundromat, your business, and what does it take to be a successful entrepreneur? Anything you want to share with us regarding that? If I missed anything?
No, I think this is very thorough. Very thorough.
So cool.
I would say that it's super important to be prepared.
Yes.
To have some basic understanding of the business financials and marketing, which is particularly hard now because there's so many different avenues where you can market your business with the social media platforms and Instagram and the print and all that. It's very difficult now to reach the customers in the frequency that you need to. But take take a basic class on running a business.
Yes.
There's a lot of free ones at the library, and again, a lot of the organizations have classes on small business administration online, even just to get some basic understanding about how to run a business, because there's so many brilliant people out there,
Yes.
have great ideas, have terrific products and everything, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they can do it day in, day out, price their products, take money from people, manage staff, all of
Yes.
that stuff that comes along with it.
Wow.
It's like there's these great chefs out there, but they don't necessarily know how to run a restaurant.
Very true. Very true. No, that's fantastic information. Wow, I love it. Yeah. You know, one of the things that I notice about the Black community is that we want things for free, and we're always searching for free money, but we don't, or we also, I guess at the same time, we have the challenge of not wanting to invest in ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm bothered by that. You know, I'm like, you got to invest in yourself if you want others to see your investment.
Yeah.
Can you say more about that? I mean, am I wrong? Am I on the right path with that?
Mm-hmm. I think that's true. That's true. It was difficult for me even in the beginning to pay myself.
Okay.
I just started the business and I said, oh no, I can't take a salary. You know, I got to pay my people and everything. But you have to find a way to reward yourself for what you're doing and for the value that you're bringing to yourself, or else you're going to lose interest in your own business. You're going to fall out of love with your business.
Yes. Yes.
And so you not only have to invest in yourself by paying yourself and rewarding yourself, but you have to put some money back into the business to keep it up and to keep it modern and to keep people coming in.
Now you mentioned two things: paying yourself and I guess passion. At what point did you develop the passion for this particular business?
Oh, well, I like a good challenge. I don't know if it was necessarily laundry or doing laundry, but the accomplished the challenge I like, and the sense of accomplishment when I saw people come in and there were more people using the facility and the buzz was coming out and I was getting good reviews, and that really got me to get more excited about that I had made the right decision. Okay.
So, I with the time that we have left, I've got to ask you to look into the crystal ball. Where are we 3 years from now? Where is Spin Doctor 3 years from now?
3 years from now, Spin Doctor is in 4 or 5 states.
Awesome.
And and I'm on the panel at one of the retreats for Goldman Sachs, and I'm on the stage there as a successful cohort member.
I love it.
And I love
it.
And then I'm considered to be an industry expert, and according to my exit plan, I'm looking for a buyer to buy me out, and I'm on the beach in Naples, with a drink and an umbrella.
That's all right. That's all right. I love that. You know what just came to my mind? Have you ever thought about putting this type of business on a college campus?
Yes, I have. In fact, one of the models that my husband and I present when we have these webinars is like a mini Spin Doctor that would fit into a resort town, or as a add-on or adjunct to a school, a college, because with the laundry cards you can have a system where they're using their either college ID or the laundry card for the laundromat itself, and then they can have access, late at night or even 24 hours in that type of environment where, they're studying, they could do their laundry.
I love it.
In some place like this.
I love it.
Absolutely true.
I love it. Yeah, one of the things I'm thinking about doing, so I forgot which number this is. It's like 25 or 26 episodes I'm in already. And I'm thinking it's time that we do like a Zoom meet and greet where all of the my guests can meet one another, and at the same time make it available for some of the online people to meet you guys too. Because I'm sitting here and I'm just thinking about networking. There's a very dear friend of mine, Dr. Dale Cadwell, and he's with the Fairleigh Dickinson Family Entrepreneurial Center.
Mm-hmm.
He's the director of that. And he's always talking about family and women in business, and this would be a great case study. I think during the prep time, we had talked about franchising, and I think you said you knew Boynton Weeks, who does franchises. Yes. Mm-hmm. So again, I would love to have you guys all come together. I'm going to sleep on that and see if that works. No, I would love.
Stay up.
Yeah, I would love for my guests to meet one another, right? And then from there, we would do an online where the community would have a chance to come online just to ask you guys questions. Because I think I got to sleep. Yeah, I'm going to stay up, but I'm going to sleep mentally on it, to see if we can't make that happen. But I would love an idea like that.
Well, that sounds exciting. So, it's a great idea.
So, Cathy, with the time that we have left, one more time, how can people reach you? How can people do business with you? And how can they support you? So just give us your address and contact information again.
Yes. So it is, again, it's STIN Doctor Laundromat. We're at 1070 Whitehorse Avenue in Hamilton Township at the corner of Cooser Road. And we're in a plaza called Cooser Plaza, and that's spelled Kuser. The store number is 609-981-STIN or 7746, I think that is. And you can also reach us at STIN Doctor at TIP, T as in Paul, I as in Indigo, T as in Tom, website, WEBSITE. Or you can just Google us and we'll come up where we've got Facebook account. We've got a really nice website, and you can find out how to get in contact with us or with me directly.
Excellent. Cathy, you have been fantastic, nothing short of amazing. So thank you. Continued success, right? And
Thank you so much.
I'm gonna stop in soon, get some of my laundry done.
Thank you, and we're not going to lose your socks.
No, I don't. Yeah, because when I put them in the dry cleaner, you're like, "Where's that one sock?
Where'd it go?"
Yeah, right. You have been.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely, Cathy, you've been fantastic. Let's talk and text later on.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right,
everybody. Thank you for listening.
Not a problem. Have a good day now.
Bye.
Bye.
You too.
That concludes another episode of The Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. We hope you found this episode informative and enlightening. If you have any questions or comments about any of our episodes, please call 609-731-9311 or email kevin@minding-our-business.com. We look forward to joining us for our next one. Until next time.